Have you ever poured a ton of money into marketing only to get, well, pretty much nothing back? Ever wondered why your amazing product or service just isn't connecting with people? I'm going to let you in on a secret. The problem probably isn't your product. It's how you talk about it. And today, we're going to break down a framework that's designed to fix that for good.
Dear book lovers, welcome to another high-speed book summary episode of Summarypedia. We're here to bring you more titles in less time.
All right, let's get into it. The book we're diving into today is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And trust me, the main idea here is a total game changer for anyone trying to grow a business. In this episode, we are going to explore the important and highly practical lessons from the book Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. At its heart, this book gives us a super powerful 7-part framework. Think of it like a filter that can completely change how you talk about your business, taking you from confusing to crystal clear. Okay, so let's get right to the core of the problem. Donald Miller argues that most marketing fails, not because the product is bad, but because the message is. It just ends up being a giant money pit.
So that's the big question, right? Why? Why do so many websites and emails and ads just completely fail to connect with people? The answer is actually surprisingly simple, and it all comes down to how our brains work.
The number one enemy, according to Miller, is something he calls noise. And here's what he means. It's any communication that forces your customers to burn too many calories just to figure out what you're even offering them. You see, our brains are hardwired for one thing above all else: survival. And that means conserving energy. So if your message is complicated or confusing, you're basically asking your customer to run a marathon in their head. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to tune you out. Instantly.
And this chart really shows you the whole issue. So many businesses talk about themselves, their history, their grand mission statement. But here's the tough truth. Customers don't care about that. They care about their own survival. Your message needs to be the bright, clear exit sign in a smoke-filled room, not just another piece of furniture. It's simple. Clarity gets you engagement. Confusion gets you, ignored.
This right here is the mantra for the entire book, and it is so powerful. If you confuse, you'll lose. The brand that communicates the most clearly is the one that wins. It's not about having the best product, it's about being understood the fastest. So how do we get that kind of clarity? Well, that brings us to the biggest, most important mind shift in the entire book. This is the secret weapon to cutting through all that noise. You have to make the customer the hero of the story, not your brand. Now look at this, because this slide shows the fatal mistake almost everyone makes. We position our brand as the hero, talking about how great we are. But think about it. Your customer is already the hero of their own life story. They aren't looking for another hero to compete with. No, they're looking for a guide, someone who can help them win the day. And this is the perfect way to think about it. Your customer is Luke Skywalker. They're a little lost, they're facing this huge problem, but they're full of potential. Your brand needs to be Yoda, the wise guide who's been there, done that, and can give Luke the plan and the tools he needs to blow up the Death Star. It's such a simple shift in thinking, but honestly, it changes everything. So how do you actually do this? How do you position yourself as the guide? Well, Miller doesn't just leave you hanging. He gives you a tool. It's called the SB7 Framework, and it's basically a roadmap built on the 7 universal story points that human beings have been wired to respond to for thousands of years. And here it is. This is the secret formula for clear communication. It all starts with a character. That's your customer. Then you define their problem, the big thing getting in their way. Then that character meets a guide. That's you, who shows them empathy and authority. Then the guide gives them a simple plan, just a few easy steps to follow. Next, you give a clear call to action, telling them exactly what to do. This all helps them avoid failure, the bad stuff that happens if they don't act. And it all leads to success, a beautiful picture of how their life will be better thanks to you. This isn't just a marketing trick. It's literally how our brains are built to understand the world. Now, before we get to the recap, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds good, but why should I trust this guy's framework? Well, that comes down to the guy who created it, Donald Miller himself. See, Miller isn't just some academic in an ivory tower. He actually developed this whole framework to solve his own creative blocks as a writer. Then he used it on his own company and doubled its revenue for 4 years straight. Since then, he's taught these principles to thousands of businesses. So yeah, this isn't just theory. It's a story formula that actually gets results. All right, we've talked about the problem, the solution, and the framework. So now let's boil it all down into the key takeaways that you can start using, like today. Here's your checklist. First, and most importantly, the customer is the hero. You are the guide, always. Second, you have to identify their real problems, not just the surface-level ones, but their internal frustrations. Third, position yourself as that perfect guide by showing both empathy and authority. Fourth, give them a dead simple plan, like 3 steps, so it's super easy to do business with you. Fifth, have a clear call to action. Don't be shy, ask for the sale. And finally, define what's at stake. Show them the amazing success they can achieve and the painful failure they can avoid.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more high-speed book summaries from Summarypedia.